Okay, so this is going to be a tabletop review of the old Hi Point C9 and the new Hi Point YC9. But before I get into the direct comparisons, I just wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers and viewers and people that leave comments and likes and dislikes and shares on the channel, because I'm proud to say that this particular gun right here was bought and paid for solely on earnings from YouTube, from being monetized on YouTube. It's been a long time coming, a lot of years at it. I don't put a lot of content out. Never thought it would even get to this point, but I do want to say thank you to all the subscribers and viewers. We'll see how far this goes. Not sure how long it'll last, but that's okay. Because again, like I said, I've gotten a lot further than I ever thought I would. So without any further babbling, let's get into the direct comparison between the C9 and the YC9. Thanks again. Similarities and differences between the original Hi Point C9 on your left and the brand new Hi Point Yeet Cannon or YC9 on your right. Now, the one on the left, which is the original, aside from the grips and the trigger, this is a rat rod trigger that does improve the trigger pull over the original a little bit, but the grips, obviously, they're not textured, they're not shaped different, there's no ergonomic differences whatsoever. So aside from just the look of it, it's still the same. So yeah, let's talk about this. So the original versus the new. As you can see from a top-down view, the sights are exactly the same. Both are adjustable for windage, both are adjustable for elevation. They have the glare cuts, anti-glare cuts on the top of the slide that cuts down on glare, obviously. The front sights are basically the same as far as the way they look, but the front sight on the original, which is on your left, is not removable. You can't do anything with it other than maybe paint the front of that, or the blade a little bit different color if you wanted. Now on the YC9, the new one on your right, that, from what I have learned, rumor has it, whatever you want to say, is Glock compatible. You could swap that out with a Glock front sight. Not sure why you would want to. Personally, I don't see any issues with the Hi Point sights. They're not the greatest, but they're certainly not the worst either. As you'll see, the original Hi Point YC9, again on the left, has no slide serrations in the front. The new one does. The old one has no Picatinny rail. The new one does have a pick rail. The trigger well, or the trigger opening, I guess, is bigger on the brand new one than it is on the older one. Let's talk about magazine release. The mag release is in the same exact place. The old one has a little bit of texture on it right there, which is kind of nice. You can get to it a little bit easier, but I still have to use my support thumb to eject the mag or change my grip up just a tad bit. The new one, it's just flat. It's got a series of circles that look like a target in it, but again, I either have to use my support hand to eject the mag or change my grip up a little bit. So I can't really talk to you about the original trigger on the original C9 because I don't have it, but the original one was skeletonized. It had a different shape to it. The new one, as you can see, is skeletonized. It does feel a lot better over what the original stock trigger on the original C9 felt like. Let's go with grip texture. So again, like I said before, these are not stock grips, but the texture is relatively same on these versus the stock ones, and the texture is not that good on the original Hi Point C9. It's not terrible, but it's not great. There's absolutely no texture here. The texture that you get down here is just very fine lines going across, nothing great. And right here on the undercut you get a little bit, and right here you get a little bit, but it's exactly the same. So it's not great. The new Hi Point YC9, awesome grip, awesome ergonomics. You can really get your hand on there. It feels good. It feels like there's stippling on this. It's not stippling. It's the way it is from the factory. It's molded to look like it and feel like it. And then down here in this area, you've got the Hi Point logo, which is actually really nice. In the front, you've got a little bit of grip texturing, not much. The other side, the right-hand side, is the same. Now in the back, down here, you get a rubberized piece here. And that feels really good, actually. It's nice and grippy. Your hand's not going to slide off of that. It feels pretty good. The new C9 has a dovetail or grip safety. So when you rack the slide, if you do not have that pressed, you cannot pull the trigger. Nothing's going to happen. So you have to press and then pull. Now, in the shooting video I did on this, I did talk about the trigger. This is just like the take up, and then you got the spring, and that's all you feel, and it's just spring all the way. There's really no wall, and then you get the brake. Reset is barely felt, barely audible, and it's basically all the way out. So staging this trigger is kind of hard to do. In fact, you really can't stage it. The safeties are exactly the same, no different there. It also has a second purpose of holding the slide back so you can take it down. I'm not going to do that. There's 100 videos out there, if not more, on how to do that. Again, the original C9 safety, same thing. Let's talk about the mags. Probably the one thing that is the biggest improvement on the Hi Point C9 and YC9. The mags are completely different. So the one on your left is for the original C9. The one on your right is for the YC9. And the left is just a single stack magazine that holds 8 rounds. The one on the right goes from a double in this area to a single, and it holds 10 rounds. So it's pretty nice. It's got the window cut out so you can see how many rounds you've got in there, and it counts your rounds by 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. The base plates on these feel much more substantial than the original did. It also gives you kind of a little bit better of a step there, in my opinion, to rest your pinky on. I find that to be pretty comfortable. The original, that is pretty sloppy. I mean, I haven't had any issues. It doesn't seem to go anywhere. In fact, it does give you a little bit of a step there too, but it just, I mean, you can see it's just, there's not much to it. The YC9, it fills this whole bottom area of the grip, and it's much better. It's much nicer. So as far as a budget gun goes, Hi Point has kind of reigned supreme over the market for a lot of years as far as a budget pistol goes. If you had the choice between getting the original C9 and the YC9, honestly, I would definitely go with the YC9 because you get 2 more rounds, you get a better grip, you get better ergonomics, you've got a Picatinny rail, you do have, I forgot to mention this before, you do have a threaded barrel. Holy moly, I got that tight. Anyway, it does come off. I had it off earlier. It's 1/2 by 28 threads, so you can put a compensator or a can on it if you want. I think that'd be kind of funny putting a can on a $230 pistol because the can's going to cost 3 times that, if not more. From the Glock store, you can get a pick rail that mounts. You remove this original or the OEM sight, rear sight from it, and it's a pick rail that mounts up here, so you can put a red dot, or you can just get a plate, a flat optics plate, and put a red dot up there as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I am kind of curious on how it's going to work. But again, even putting a cheap optic on a $230 gun is kind of funny. I should do that. I should put an optic on here, get a suppressor, put a suppressor on there, make this like a $1,400 gun. Suppressor and red dot being way more valuable than the gun itself. But it ships with just one magazine. I've been looking all over the internet to see if I can find mags for it at Gun Mag Warehouse and other sites. And so far, I cannot get any magazines for it, but it has just hit the market. I think it's been out maybe a month from the time of viewing this, which is August of 2023. So not a bad gun, definitely not bad for the money. There's better options out there if you can spend more money, but under the $250 price point range, you're not going to beat this gun. Anyway, that's a tabletop review. I do have a shooting review of this on the channel, so go check that out. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Hit the like button. Subscription to my channel is absolutely free to you, so hit that subscribe button, and we will see you later. Thanks. Bye.